So we're now live, so viewers can see us. So you can let folks know what's going on, and then we'll do the best we can, then answer some questions.
All right. So hey guys, here we are at the infamous Todd Brown Marketing Automation Funnel Hangout. Welcome everyone. Awesome to have you all here. We're having technical difficulties, so this is going to be a little bizarre, but we're going to make it worth your while. We're going to do our very best anyway. Type something into that chat box at the bottom of the page here and say hello. Tell us who you are in the chat box, okay? Keep an eye out for some of those chats if you would, Todd. There's a little delay. All right. So hey guys, here we are at the infamous Todd Brown Marketing Automation Funnel Hangout. Welcome everyone. Awesome to have you all here. We're having technical difficulties, so this is going to be a little bizarre, but we're going to make it. Wait. Okay, Todd. So I had my other computer on, so this is crazy. So is there any chats coming in, Todd?
I will tell you in one second.
There's a bit of a delay, guys, so it's about 45 seconds before your chats arrive.
Yeah, so the Google Hangout is about I think it's like 15 seconds behind. So yeah, there's some questions that have been asked already. Some stuff in here about are we starting? So yeah, there's some stuff coming in.
Okay. Now I want to ask you guys, can you hear Todd at all? I'm wondering if you can. Doubting that you hear him very well, but let's see if you can hear. Did you guys hear Todd? Type something in the box. Let us know if you heard Todd. If not, we're going to do some fancy stuff here, but hopefully you can. Let me know, Todd.
Yeah, it's, you know what it is, Daniel. It's just the bandwidth in the hotel is just brutal, and so like I can't even now bring up the page to see what kind of chat, what kind of comments are coming in. So yeah.
Maybe Andy can do it. Andy, can you do it? I got a bunch of questions here. That came in via email. So we got questions. And maybe, Andy, you can see the chat, obviously, right?
I'm looking.
There should be questions in the chat. But why don't we start with some of the ones that came in via email. Is anybody saying they can hear you or no? Or you can't even see that? What are they saying, Andy? Can they?
I think for some reason, because of my gut tells me that because of the bandwidth, that it's muted my microphone. So the microphone on the actual computer works fine when I go to the system preferences, but when it comes to the Google Hangout, it's just not allowing it. It's not working for whatever reason.
Right. I'm wondering if they can hear you on the phone. I doubt it, but can anybody hear on the phone? Are we getting any in the type there in the chat, Andy?
I don't think I'm on as an organizer. I have a chat box, but it's empty, and I'm sure.
All right. Well, let's forget about that. Let's assume that they cannot hear you, because I think that's a pretty fair bet. Can you guys hear me? Oh, you can't even see. Okay, so we're I guess we're disconnected. Well, so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and I got a lot of questions here that came in beforehand, so we'll answer them the best we can.
It says that Todd is sort of muffled. You are much clearer. Gary said, Kitty said no more sound, frozen screen. Let's just roll with it, and we'll hope that folks can hear. So let's just do the best that we can to answer some questions.
All right. So let's go ahead and let's see what we got here. Well, first of all, I also want to take an opportunity to congratulate everybody who's already taken the plunge and invested in Todd's Marketing Funnel Automation Partnership Program. You made an incredibly wise decision. You're going to love it. If you apply yourself, you're about to have a transformational experience in your business and in your life. And we're here, hopefully, to drill deeply into this whole idea of creating a true engine of business growth, because that's what the Marketing Funnel Automation Partnership Program is all about, building a power plant that you bolt onto your business that automatically, day in, day out, takes dollars in at the top on one end, and it delivers customers and prospects out the other at break even or better, so that you can build your list rapidly and profit wildly from that crush of new subscribers. Now, without that power plant, it's literally like trying to run a factory with no supply contract for electricity. Your profits will always remain hit and miss, feast or famine. You'll always be beholden to JV partners or to the search engines, your business and your life, unpredictable, stress-filled, and frustrating, and I don't want that for you. So before we try to answer some questions, I just want you to know that that is why I have been so persistent about promoting this opportunity. I'm going to do everything I can to get you involved. Actually, I'm going to throw in another surprise bonus tonight here, which I'll tell you about shortly. And everyone who stays right to the end, hopefully we have a good session. It's not too short. Everybody who stays right to the end, regardless of whether you get on board with the MFA partnership program or not, I'm going to give you the $1 Million Online Advertising Strategies from the greatest letter writer of the 20th century. I'm going to give it to you again if you stay to the end, a.k.a. the Robert Collier e-letter book. It's free, nothing to buy. And again, I'll give that to you via a link at the end of the Hangout. Because there's nothing...
And Daniel, can I jump in for 1 second and just address something that you said? Because I think that it's so spot on, and I think that everybody really needs to really get it at their core, and that is that what we're really talking about in essence when we talk about marketing funnels, when I talk about the big idea and creating engagement, and when I talk about the logic sequence and covering everything that they need to believe in order to buy, when we're talking about the marketing funnel, this is the foundation of any business. Right? Like you heard me say, most of you heard me say on the web training that in all of the time that I've been consulting and coaching with entrepreneurs and companies of all different sizes, I have yet to find a true traffic problem. Meaning I have yet to find to come across a client, to come across a company that came to me where their issue was they just truly couldn't generate enough traffic. It's always been a conversion issue. It's either that they're not converting enough new prospects into sales, or they're not converting enough prospects into high enough sales, meaning the dollar value on the front end, the transaction value isn't high enough, or they've got a back-end conversion issue where they're not turning one-time purchases into a second transaction, a third transaction, or they're just not doing it at a high enough dollar value. Regardless, all of those things fall under the umbrella of a marketing funnel, because it requires an effective marketing funnel to make sure that each one of those components are in place. The reality is that even being here in San Diego for traffic and conversion, right? Every presentation, whether it's traffic related or whether it's solely related to the quote unquote funnel, it's always tied back to conversions, because an increase in traffic is only valuable when you are able to convert that traffic into dollars and cents, and that is all done by your marketing funnel. The ability to turn a cold prospect into a customer is at the foundation of every business, and until you can do that, the reality is, let me share with you something that was shared with me by my buddy Rich Shepard. Until you can convert a cold traffic into a sale, into a new customer, you do not have a business, you have a promotion. And that promotion and your income is incredibly vulnerable. There is nothing more important than designing your marketing funnel at a bare minimum, the ability to generate a new customer. And so that's what we're talking about.
Right on. Let me ask Andy if he heard that. Did you hear that, Andy? I heard it loud and clear, but I'm sitting right by the phone here. Andy.
Yeah, he sounds okay.
Okay, great. Love it. All right. Yeah, I mean, there's just absolutely nothing more empowering or rewarding or exciting than waking up every single morning to new customers, to new prospects, and new profits, regardless of what's happening with the JVs and the SEO and all the other hit or miss traffic generation methods. They're all good, but they're not reliable. They're not consistent like paid traffic. And I think us folks in the internet marketing world have been just totally spoiled. You know, with joint ventures and with SEO, it's just, you know, that we fail to realize the truth in what you say there. That is that if you can't convert a cold prospect, you don't have a business. You just don't have sticking power. So that's why the special deal on marketing funnel automation on the partnership program remains available until midnight. So if you've not as yet availed yourself of it, you can do that anytime from the big green button below, I believe. Also below us somewhere, and I highly encourage you to do that when you feel ready. So Todd, that's great. I'm really excited that they can hear you. So let's get into some questions. I'll start with this. Somebody wants to know, what other tools am I going to need to build a productive funnel?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so there are typically 3 tools that you will need. Unfortunately, today, with these tools, these tools have actually made the process of setting up and optimizing a funnel that much easier. So it's never been easier, and really, I would say it's never been less expensive than it is right now. And so the first tool that you'll need is a tool to publish the different web pages that make up a funnel. And so I recommend one of the following 3 tools to do this. And it's one of these tools that allow you to get your pages up without needing a webmaster, without needing to pay a company to do it, without needing, any technical skills. The first one is Lead Pages. Lead Pages is a great application. It's a great application for getting the different pages up without a lot of customization. So meaning like it's the fastest, easiest way to get your pages up when you are okay working within the framework of existing templates. And so I think you could find out more about Lead Pages at leadpages.net. The second tool is Optimize Press 2. Optimize Press 2 is very simple, except the benefit is that you've got full customization. What I mean by that is that so with a tool like Lead Pages, you basically are able to choose from various templates, and then within the framework of those templates, you're able to, let's say, change the headline, change the logo. But with Lead Pages, you can't move the stuff around. Whereas with Optimized Press, you still have these templates that you can customize, and if you want to move stuff around and add a new image where there wasn't an image before, you can do that. The third tool is ClickFunnels, and ClickFunnels is a tool by my buddy Russell Brunson, and it is basically a full-featured page publishing application that even allows you to collect payments and allows you to do one-time offers. And so in order of kind of, let's call it intensity, is Lead Pages, Optimize Press, ClickFunnels. So you need one of those to publish your pages. The second tool that you need is, at a bare minimum, you need an email autoresponder service. And so that is a tool that gives you the ability to send out your different email sequences, right? And so you can use a tool as simple as Aweber all the way up to a tool like Infusionsoft or Entreport, which is really a more robust CRM. So you need a tool one tool that allows you to send out your email messages. And then the final tool that you need, which is not often talked about, is you need what's called an ad tracker. And that's a tool like ClickMagick. There is AdTrax Gold, Improvely, HyperTracker. There's a variety of different third-party trackers that you can use. What that allows you to do is that allows you to track each individual paid traffic source separately, so that you can see exactly what it is that you're paying per click and what it is that you're earning per click. What that allows us to do is it allows us to track the ROI for each individual traffic source separately, so we can scale up the sources that are working, we can dump the sources that aren't, and so it allows you to monitor your return on investment to make sure that for every dollar you're putting in, you're getting $1 back, $1.50 back, $2 back, $6 back, $20 back, et cetera. And so those are the three tools at a bare minimum that you'll need. Of course, we can get a little bit more advanced if we wanted to in terms of processing orders. There are tools like Sam Card that you can use to process orders and have the money deposited in your bank account within 48 hours, but you can also do that with something like PayPal. And so bare minimum, you need a page publishing tool, you need a email autoresponder, and you need an ad tracker. And if you went with the cheapest of all those, you can have tools that are running your business, powering your funnels for less than $100.
Yeah, $100 a month. That's how I started, exactly with what you described 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So, how are we doing for audio, Andy? Are you hearing him okay?
Yep, still coming through clear. It's a little muffled, but can hear you just fine.
Awesome. All right, here's another question for you, Todd. There are literally dozens and dozens of different traffic sources, more and more all the time. Short of running a small-scale test on each one of those traffic sources, how can somebody predict which types of traffic are going to work best?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, I'm going to answer this based on without running small-scale tests on each of those different channels, each of those different sources. We could certainly look for the traffic sources that are being used by competitors. And so one of the things that we're able to do is we're able to reverse engineer where your competitors are getting traffic from, what sources, what web pages they're advertising on, if they're buying, let's say, ads, banner ads on various websites. And we can even go as far as to identify the creative that they're using. So, for example, if a competitor is advertising on Google AdWords and they're advertising under a particular keyword phrase, we can actually see the different creative, the different Google AdWords ads that they've run and which one they've run the longest, which one they're currently running. And so we can learn what keywords they have continued to advertise under, meaning telling us that they are getting a positive ROI there, or else they wouldn't continue to run the ad. Of course, that's assuming that they're a direct response marketer. We could also see the creatives, so you don't have to go into it blind. And you can do the same thing with banner ads. And so if you're not going to do a small-scale test, like if you wanted to skip the process of testing, what I would be doing is I'd be reverse engineering where my competitors are advertising. I would look for where they're advertising, where they've been advertising. I would look at the trends across the creative that they're using, like are they using certain phrases, certain words, and those are the sources that I would initially start with, because I would allow my competitors to tell me where they've run ads, where they're continuing to run ads, and what ads they're continuing to run.
Right. That's a great answer. And I don't think that we're suggesting that you skip the testing, the small scale test. We're just trying to I guess the question was really about how do you find the most likely place where you're going to have a successful test? What if you don't see a precedent? What if there's nobody else out there aggressively, repeatedly marketing the thing that you want to sell?
Yeah, I'll tell you my what I would do, and I wouldn't go there. And so, in other words, if you are getting started with a new funnel, if you're just getting started with paid traffic, you're kind of in the scaling process, and so you're not overly cash flush. You're not sitting on a pile of money. I personally wouldn't go there. So basically, if there was uncharted territory, like there were no competitors that had advertised there or are advertising there, or maybe some did and they stopped, I wouldn't go there. You don't have to and look, if you lined up 6 different successful marketers, you'd very likely get 6 different answers to that question. But you don't need to be a trailblazer, right? Let your competitors tell you where they've gone, what they've done, where they're repeatedly marketing, and go in there. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, especially early on.
Right on. Okay. Here's another one. What am I doing wrong? What are the biggest mistakes that are preventing folks from achieving positive ROI with their marketing funnels, Todd? What are the five big ones?
Wow, that's a great question. So right off the bat, the very first one, which is something that I talked about on the web training that we did, and that is having a marketing message that is just not at the appropriate sophistication level. So, rolling out a marketing campaign with an idea and a headline, a hook, a message, all of the above, some of the above, that is just below the sophistication level of the market, meaning that what you're rolling out with is simply more of the same. It's more of what they've already seen, what they've already heard, what they've already been exposed to, and therefore you're just not going to get the traction. You're going to struggle to get a high opt-in rate, and or you're going to struggle to get a high enough conversion rate, sales conversion rate, simply because you're basically bringing either a Me Too message to the market, or you're just not saying something that is worthy of enough of your prospects to pay attention and engage with you. And so that's the first one. The second one, and this is the rest of these will be in no particular order. And so the next one that I would mention is also something that I talked about in the web training, and that's you don't have a rock solid sales argument. Like you are not proving to the prospect both emotionally and logically why investing in your product or service is the best decision for them. Like you have not laid out a legitimate, rock-solid, airtight argument. So you have not established all those beliefs, right? What most marketers do is they simply dump a bunch of promises, a bunch of claims, a bunch of benefits, and there's no logical, airtight sales argument that makes sense to the person both on an emotional level and a logical level. I think it's funny that, Marketing 101 teaches us as marketers to focus on the benefits, right? What's in it for the prospect? We know, WIIFM, what's in it for me, and how is your product or service going to change their life, and how is it going to alleviate their problem, and how is it going to improve their situation, and all of those things. And I think that the overwhelming majority of direct response marketers, not necessarily the majority of business owners, but the overwhelming majority of direct response marketers, they get that. And so their marketing funnels are filled with a lot of benefits, a lot of claims, a lot of promises, in hopes of really exciting the prospect on an emotional level. But what is lacking is that solid, logical argument that makes sense, where the prospect says, I get it, I see it, and I understand why this is the best solution for me. And I think, you know what, Daniel, that's the big difference between the hypey, typical IM marketing funnel where it just feels icky, it feels like you're being sold, it feels like, you're being marketed to, compared to, let's say, something from Agora or something from Boardroom or years ago from Phillips, or, from our mutual friend Clayton Makepeace, where it feels like, there's value. You're learning. You're being educated. And it makes sense both on an emotional and logical basis. And when you give the logical reasons why, it makes that emotional tug that much stronger, because the prospect allows themselves to be brought into the throes of the emotional excitement when logically it makes sense, right? They're not hesitant. And so that's number two. Number three, I would say, and it kind of ties in with number two, is a lack of proof, where you're just not backing up your claims with proof. And I think, you know what, Daniel, I think it stems from a lot of marketers just taking for granted this idea that if they say it, that their prospect is automatically going to believe it, right? Like they think that just because they're claiming X, Y, and Z in their marketing funnel, that, all right, so I said it, and so they're going to believe it. The reality is the healthiest perspective to take is the complete opposite, the complete antithesis. And that is that they're looking for reasons not to believe you. They're looking for reasons to doubt you. They're looking for reasons not to buy from you. And what they want to see from you is they want to see proof. I remember hearing Gary Benzavanga at his, one of the greatest living copywriters of our time, probably one of the greatest advertising copywriters ever, certainly in that elite group, at his final $10,000 per person event. He talked about that one of the, if not the most important component to any marketing promotion that prospects are crying out for is proof, and never make a claim that is above your proof. Your claims can only be as big as your proof points. Let me see here.
I think you might have dropped off the Hangout, but you're still on the phone. Can you hear?
Okay.
Can you hear Todd, Andy?
Yep, I can still hear him. I can't see him, but I can hear him.
Okay, so very cool. Okay, that's fine. So that's the third one, right? That you've got to prove what you're saying. So, that goes back to that whole logic chain. And this is why, right? This is why I believe this is a big part of why I believe my clients and students get such great results with their funnels, because it's not simply this idea of, hey, let me throw up the most hyped up headline that I can on a squeeze page and then bring people to a VSL where we just load it up with promises and benefits that the majority of prospects are doubting and questioning, and they feel funny about, and it doesn't feel right. Whereas what my clients and what my students, what people that go through the MFA coaching program understand how to do by the end is to put together a sequence, a message, a series of points that the prospect believes in, that the prospect gets, that where it logically makes sense, and it's getting them emotionally excited. And that's done through a series of claims and proof. Claims and proof. Claims and proof. And so that is the third one. The fourth one that I'll mention, and again, this is in no particular order, but it's certainly that the people that you are targeting is just not the right audience, right? We know that in the world of direct response, that in terms of the order of importance, it goes list, offer, copy. right? So you've got the first most important component is the list, meaning the audience, meaning who are you talking to. Doesn't matter how great your marketing funnel is. It doesn't matter how phenomenal we put together this logic sequence with the claims, the right proof points, that all the emotional hot buttons, the quote-unquote emotional manipulation, if you will. If we're talking to the wrong audience, the wrong list, so to speak, we're going to fall flat. And so it's certainly, which is a conversation for a different day, but it's certainly making sure that we're putting the right bait out in our traffic channels to get the right people in front of our funnel and ultimately the offer. And I'm just going to put a part B onto this one, number 4, before I go on to the 5th one. And I'm going to say for part B, which really could be a training all in and of itself, it's an entire module in the MFA Partnership Coaching Program, and that is how you actually construct a no-brainer offer, an irresistible offer, right? Because you just heard me say that it goes list, offer, copy. So even before copy, before what you say in a VSL, in a long-form sales letter, even before what you say in your email follow-up sequence, as you're presenting your logic sequence, your logic chain, is the offer. How good is the offer? How irresistible is the offer? How is the offer being presented? What are the premiums? What are the deliverables? What's the risk reversal component? What is the payment terms? Just how irresistible is the offer? And so most people, the reality is, and I guarantee for everybody that's listening to us right now, that's watching us right now, the reality is that they probably spend 10, maybe 15 minutes tops thinking about the offer when they're putting together their marketing funnel or a marketing promotion or a marketing campaign. They sit down and they say, well, I'm going to give, this is the product, this is going to be the bonus or bonuses, this is the price point, this is the guarantee, and that's it, and I'm going to offer it. When the reality is that a massive part of our success with any marketing funnel is the quality of the offer, is how exciting the offer is. And so the 5th thing that I'll say is, and I spent a bunch of time talking about this on the web training, so I'm not going to spend much time now,